And how do you fall in love with Indonesia? What's the history?
My first meeting with Indonesia was at UCLA when I was a sophomore, maybe even a freshman in college. And I walked into this room full of instruments. At that time I was a dance major. I was studying African dance. And we were doing a show, a production, and for rehearsal we went into this room where all the instruments from around the world were housed. And that's when I saw the gamelan for the first time. And when I met the teacher of the Javanese gamelan, at that time UCLA was teaching Balinese and Javanese gamelan. We're talking about 1965. The gamelans were the most important music ensemble in the ethnomusicology program. And when I saw these instruments and I saw this dance, I felt I had finally found the dance that I could really love. So my first encounter was 50 years ago.
So right now you are one of the faculty and founders of the UCLA. And can you tell us about the first gamelan that you brought to UCLA?
The very first project I brought was actually to the city of Los Angeles. It was the Los Angeles Festival in 1990, which happened at the same time as KIAS. Some of you may not remember, but KIAS was a very important international exchange program where Indonesia brought maybe 12 companies from all over Indonesia. And I actually made a special request that the Kraton of Yogyakarta be selected as one of those KIAS companies. At that time, I was a curator for the Los Angeles Festival, and so I said, if you can bring this Kraton group, we will showcase them in the LA Festival, and we have money to help bring the group to America. And it happened. We brought 50 people, and we did a full all-night wayang kulit, we did a wayang wong evening, we did a bedoyo evening and lawong, and we did it at the Arboretum, which is a beautiful garden here in Los Angeles. And they never do shows there, they never do concerts, but we built a beautiful big stage, and we built it was very expensive. We built risers, and it was a beautiful night air, and there was peacocks walking around, and this incredible concert of Javanese gamelan.
What do you find fascinating about Indonesian dance, especially Balinese and Javanese?
I have studied dance from all over the world. That was my job at UCLA. I would lecture about dance from Africa, Latin America, Europe, Southeast Asia, East Asia, South Asia. It was my job to know about dance from around the world. What I found about Indonesia, and we'll just talk about Java and Bali, but I could talk about many places in Indonesia. What I so appreciate is the combination of exquisite, disciplined, aesthetic beauty in a way that is not ego-driven. When I see dancers in Java, you do not see the personality dancing. You see people dancing for a larger purpose. In Bali, if you see dancers, of course there's a lot of tourist stuff going on, I'm not talking about that, but if you really see Balinese dancers in their village dancing, they're not egotistical in their art of dancing. They are dancing in service of the temple. When I first saw Javanese dance, this was the one thing immediately I saw. There's a kind of humility. there's a surrender. There's a larger purpose. And while not many people talk about it, in fact, Javanese gamelan and dance, wayang kulit, all very spiritual. Spiritual in the form itself. It's not like I'm up there lecturing you about spirituality or religion and this, that, and that. You need to believe the way I know. It's not like that. For me, the Javanese dance is in the doing you find the spirit. In the doing you find the humility. In the doing you find the patience. You find a way to be in the world that is full of grace. This is why it makes sense that in the olden days, the leaders in the kraton, in the palaces, wanted their children to dance. They wanted them to play music. Why? Because in the dance, they would learn how to be a bigger human being, a wiser human being, a more generous human being. And in the great epics of the Mahabharata, Ramayana, you can learn the lessons of what it means to fulfill a righteous life, to be honest, to be pure, not to be arrogant, not to be aggressive. So these are all the things I've learned over time, and then I find them, of course, it resonates with me and my sensibility, my personality. I am Japanese American, but I must say, and I've studied about kabuki and bunraku and all the great forms in Japan. I have done that, and I have presented those artists in America too. But the work in some of ancient cultures is very archaic and a little stiff. But in Java, it's not yet that way. There's a flowing quality in the way people teach, in the way people study, in the way people perform. It is not rigid and unforgiving. No, it's a very kind and generous process of learning. And of course, it's beautiful. What does it mean to dance in beauty, but not feel it's an egotistical statement? That's what I love about the dance in Java.
Tell us about Cup of Java. What is the story behind Cup of Java?
Over the years, I have made many friends. I've been going to Jogja since by myself as a researcher from about 1975. So I also studied, of course. You know, I couldn't just watch it. I wanted to know how it felt. And I tried my best to study, although I couldn't live in Java for very long. I had 2 children. I was a single parent. So I had a lot of obligation for my life here and my family here. But over time, I have watched this Institute of the Arts called ISI Yogyakarta just develop from the very seed of its beginning. You see, the first rector of that school came to UCLA, and I knew him when I was an undergraduate student. So, you know, from the very beginning, I could feel, oh, Indonesia is making these art institutes, and they're going to nationalize the teaching and the study of the performing arts and the visual arts in these national academies. I was there watching it being birthed. So now, you know, 50 years later, I'm watching the continuance of this, and I know it's not easy. It's not easy because I'm also in the performing arts at a great university, UCLA. There's a lot to think about when you're teaching the performing arts. I have kept touch with my friends at EC. As I mentioned, I brought faculty to UCLA in an exchange program. And in that first exchange program, we did a concert. And that concert was the Jogja dancers with the Cal Arts Gamelan. It was not the main reason that we did the residency, but it was something I said, well, let's just try this. and it was very beautiful. We did it on my campus, in my new theater, and I just felt so good for my students and for the public to see such great art. Because again, not since 1990 LA Festival had we really brought wonderful Javanese dancers. Then I thought maybe we can do a partnership with EC. So I went to the rector's office about 3 years ago and I proposed that we bring dancers from EC and we have American gamelans perform together for concerts. At that time I wanted Hawaii, University of Hawaii, Cal Arts in Los Angeles, and University of California, Berkeley. Those were my 3 campus targets. I thought, well, we could go to Wesleyan University. There's a lot of Javanese gamelans in this country, and they would have loved to do this project. But of course, I couldn't keep these people away from Indonesia too long. It turns out that the 2 campuses are University of Hawaii and Los Angeles Cal Arts. So you can imagine it takes time to make all these pieces work. Can you do it? Can you do it? What's your calendar? What's your calendar? Do you have some money? Do you have some money? Trying to put all of these little pieces together was not easy. It took me almost 2 years to actually get to this point, maybe more. And the partnership is, and this is what I came to understand, in the old days, if you were to bring anybody from Indonesia, all the money has to come from the American side. If I were to ask Cal Arts or University of Hawaii, can you pay for all the expenses of bringing these dancers? I'm so sorry to say, nobody has money. Even my own department at UCLA would not have that kind of money. So EC Yogyakarta applied for their own grant to pay for the airfares of their members and the preparation rehearsal to come to America. I need to tell the public one thing. It is not just, oh, we're going to America, let's put some dances together and get on the airplane. No, it takes months of preparation. First you have to cast who the dancers are that are going to come. Then you have to think of what program you're going to prepare. Then you have to send the music to America so the Americans can rehearse the music. And then there's a lot of questions in that. Is this Jokjanese? Is this Solanese? You know, what are we going to do about the voices? Oh, we don't have enough men to sing in this section. It goes on and on. A fascinating, fascinating process. So on the Jokja side, they had to prepare for months. And they are preparing for months. They're choreographing a new dance drama fragment, which is one of my favorite stories about Kunti and Karno. And when I was there this summer, we had a meeting and we talked about this story and how important it is. You know, in the Wayang Kulit, if you do a story in the Mahabharata like the death of Karno, the dalang has to do a lot of preparation, a lot of offerings, a lot of meditation. It's a very dangerous story to perform the moment when Arjuna kills Karno. It's not quite the same in the dance drama, but still, every Javanese who really understands the culture knows this is not just a story like, let's make up a story and perform it. No, it's filled with deep meaning, and the telling of the story must be done in the right way, or it could be dangerous. So my friends in Jogja agreed to do a very important and I think heart-wrenching story when Karno meets his mother Kunti for the first time in the day before he's going to battle. To find out he is going to face his half-brother in battle, because the 2 half-brothers are the greatest warriors of the Kurawas and Pandawas. New music, new stories, new poems, teaching the dancers, this all has to happen in Jogja before they come. And the Americans, a little bit nervous to play for such beautiful dancers. Can we play it? Can we get do we have enough time for the rehearsals? Will we be good enough to play for these dancers? Now, the part I love about all the projects I do, if you ask somebody to do something difficult, and maybe they're a little bit nervous in the beginning, but if they actually do it and they succeed, they are better than when we all started. I know this is going to happen in Hawaii and in Los Angeles with CalArts, because everybody wants to do justice to the form. Everybody respects the art of the gamelan and the dancing. They need to be as good as they can be, and that's what will happen. So the EC got their money together, and we put our little pennies together to make our money together, and so we got the finances, and now we are just needing to sell the show.
So what do you hope, I mean, what is your ultimate goal of Cup of Java?
I'm trying to repay that moment when I first saw this. When I first saw this dance and heard this come, I felt I was blessed to hear it, to see it, to know that on the planet there exists something this beautiful. I want to share that. I want to help others see that. And I know for a fact, because I have been in this profession for a very long time, in that audience there will be a few people for whom their life will be changed, just like my life has changed. So you will have everybody will receive in different ways. It's my hope the Indonesians will come. It's my hope they will stop feeling that they don't like traditional music and gamelan, that they have nothing to do with it, that they will, whether they like it or not. I don't insist people like this. I insist that they understand this exists and that it's a great art form. You may not like the symphony orchestra. You may not want to sit in a but you know there exists this incredible tradition of symphonic music with thousands of people playing music like this on the violin or the viola or the cello. I want people to know there are people in Java who continue to honor the great traditions of this music and dance. So the Indonesians are important. The American concert-going audience, honestly, because of my experience, they will appreciate in the deepest way. So, you know, and the Kunti Karno, of course, it's going to make people really think hard. I want our Indonesian community to think in a deep way about their country. We live in a time of mass media and pop culture. I understand that. I've been teaching thousands of students over my career. But I want Indonesians to think about what really is theirs, not something that has just been bought through the hype of commercial product making bling. I think that if we only live in that world of the fabricated values that some Madison Avenue advertising firm wants us to care about, buy into, invest our precious dollars in, we will lose touch with what really is ours, that is only ours, not the stuff that anybody can own because it's full access from all over the globe. And that thing that is ours, and now I'm not just saying, you know, the Balinese for the Balinese, the Javanese for the Javanese, or the Sundanese for the Sundanese, or the Batak for the so much. I'm not saying ethnocentric. I'm saying the nation should really be educated about the diversity that is Indonesia, the same way I educate myself about the diversity that is America, and believe me, that is not an easy thing to do. But for Indonesians to know and to see, and I hope appreciate, the fact that the history of Indonesia is deep and long and rich. It's not just this modern time that we define ourselves as Indonesian. It's not just post-independence. No, it goes way, way back. And those are the formulation of all our very deep values. All the things we care about. All the things that make us who we are under and our clothes and all the surface things. Our values. What our mothers, what our grandmothers, what the ancestors that we never met have somehow instilled in us, the values that make Indonesians so special. So this is a concert of classical, traditional Javanese gamelan and dance. I can understand if some Indonesians might feel, oh, this is Javanese, I don't want to have it. No, I personally think that's very narrow-minded, and you're cheating yourself from something that's important and valuable. I want you to come to a beautiful theater, the Aratani Theater, and I want you to sit with all these other people who are interested to spend their money and come to a concert of Indonesian, of Javanese music and dance. It'll make you think, wow, what are these people coming for? I wasn't even sure I was interested to come, but if you sit with a concert-going audience, you realize there is this level of culture in our city which appreciates the other. They may never have heard of Indonesia, they may have never gone to Indonesia, but still they're curious. They're curious about your country. I hope you will be curious about your own country. I hope you will be open, not to just say, oh, I don't like that. Oh, I don't like that. I mean, as an educator, let me tell you, that is the surest way to make your world that small. No, you must try it. You must give yourself to it. And in doing so, there will be something for you. I know it. I know at some level there will be something for you in this concert that you will take away and will help you think more deeply about your country and your incredible history. So I'm doing my part. The artists are doing their part. The theater is giving us this beautiful theater without rent. They're doing their part. I'm hoping the Indonesian community will come out and do their part and get their benefit out